Imagine a spark in a desert, one that could ignite a global firestorm. Jamie Dimon, CEO of JP Morgan Chase, warns of a looming crisis centered in the Middle East. He believes escalating conflict, especially involving Iran, could trigger a market crash with worldwide consequences. This isn't just Wall Street anxiety. Dimon's warning is rooted in the fragile, interconnected nature of today's global economy. The Middle East is a volatile web of alliances and rivalries, and a direct conflict could be the tipping point. Dimon argues we're underestimating the risks, ignoring the rising crescendo of geopolitical tension. The threat isn't a minor market dip, it's a potential systemic crisis that could unravel years of economic stability. He urges us to look beyond daily headlines and recognize the larger, more ominous patterns forming. The stability we take for granted is now under threat. This isn't just a distant problem, a chain reaction could impact everything from gas prices to retirement savings. Dimon's message connects complex geopolitics to our everyday lives. A spark in the Middle East could set off a firestorm that reaches every corner of the globe. It's a call to pay attention, not just for investors, but for everyone. In a globalized world, distant conflicts can have immediate, personal consequences. The warning: we're all more vulnerable than we think. When Jamie Dimon speaks, the financial world listens. As CEO of JP Morgan Chase, he's steered the largest U.S. bank through crises like 2008, earning a reputation for foresight and blunt honesty. Dimon's insights aren't just theory. His bank operates in over 100 countries with trillions at stake daily. Governments and industry leaders seek his advice, and his annual shareholder letter is must-read material. When Dimon highlights a threat, it's because his risk models are flashing red. He's not speculating. He's sharing a global threat assessment from one of the world's most important financial institutions. His warnings have proven accurate before, especially during the subprime mortgage crisis. Dimon isn't just a commentator, he's a key player with a track record of seeing trouble before it hits. That's why his latest warning about Middle East turmoil and its economic fallout demands attention. He's not raising alarms lightly. When Dimon signals danger, it's time to take notice. His words carry the weight of experience and real-world stakes. At the heart of Dimon's warning is the Strait of Hormuz, the world's most critical oil choke point. Every day, a fifth of global oil passes through this narrow waterway. Iran, bordering the strait, has repeatedly threatened to close it if conflict erupts. Shutting the strait would instantly choke off a massive portion of the world's oil supply. Even the threat of closure could send shipping and insurance costs soaring, disrupting global trade. A full-scale closure would trigger oil prices to skyrocket, potentially doubling or tripling overnight. The resulting energy shock would dwarf anything seen since the 1970s oil crises. This isn't just a regional risk, it's a global economic time bomb. The world's reliance on this narrow passage makes it a dangerous point of leverage. Any miscalculation or escalation could detonate a worldwide crisis. Dimon and other strategists see this as the most immediate threat to global stability. The global economy is balanced on the assumption that the strait stays open. If that changes, the fallout would be swift and severe. An oil shock from the Strait of Hormuz would hit consumers fast. Gas prices would surge, straining household budgets and acting as a direct tax on families, but it wouldn't stop at the pump. Higher fuel costs mean higher prices for everything transported by truck, ship, or plane. Companies would pass these costs to consumers, fueling a wave of inflation. Food prices would spike too, as energy costs drive up the price of fertilizer and farming. For many, especially in developing countries, this could mean real hardship. The chain reaction oil shock leads to higher transport and food costs, squeezing consumers from all sides. Inflation would erode purchasing power, making everyday life more expensive. This isn't just a Wall Street problem, it's a global cost of living crisis. Dimon's warning is about real-world pain, not just market numbers. A conflict far away could empty wallets everywhere. The ripple effects would be felt in every home. As inflation surges, central banks like the U.S. Federal Reserve face a nightmare scenario. Stagflation, their usual tool, raising interest rates, won't fix a supply shock caused by disrupted oil and food supplies. Raising rates could tip the economy into recession, freezing hiring and raising unemployment. But keeping rates low would let inflation spiral, eroding savings and wages. Central banks are trapped: fight inflation and risk recession, or support growth and risk runaway prices. Either choice inflicts pain. There's no easy solution. Persistent inflation could destroy confidence in currencies and destabilize economies. Central bankers would be criticized no matter what they do. This is why Dimon's warning is so serious. It's not just a market problem, but a policy crisis. The institutions meant to ensure stability could be paralyzed. The dilemma: act and cause pain, or do nothing and let chaos grow. It's a lose-lose scenario for policymakers. The stakes couldn't be higher. For investors, Diamond's scenario is a minefield. A Middle East crisis would send markets into turmoil, stocks would plunge, profits would shrink, and volatility would soar. Investors would flee to safe havens like government bonds and gold, but even these moves reflect deep market fear. Confidence would evaporate, making long-term planning nearly impossible. Retirement savings and investment plans could be upended by events thousands of miles away. The chain reaction is clear: geopolitical spark, oil shock, inflation, policy paralysis, and market chaos. Understanding these risks is crucial. No one is immune. Diamond's warning isn't a call to panic, but a call for vigilance. In a connected world, distant conflicts can threaten everyone's financial security. The message: global stability is fragile, and preparation is essential. Investors and families alike must be ready for storms on the horizon. The world is on edge, and ignoring the warning could be costly. Stay alert, stay informed, and don't underestimate the risks.